Hi guys, welcome to Eat, Nourish, Glow. So today we're going to be talking about feeding our beauty from the inside out. And so of course this conversation will be centered around food. And also I want to talk about just the other aspect of beauty. So, more than being pretty on the surface and sort of the decorative things that we do to sort of finish things off and make ourselves pretty and fashionable and all that sort of thing, is also just this idea of harmonizing within ourselves and this deeper beauty that is innate and is our nature and comes from within. And so we can never ignore that, that is the more powerful part of our beauty, and the rest of it is really, just icing on the cake or whatever. So this is why I like to talk about food, because food to me is the way that we connect and bring in that self-love. It's so important, the relationship that we have with the parts of ourselves that we resist, the parts that we see are flawed, and the parts that we see are imperfect. The way that we relate to those is really important. And I don't want us to just be covering it up or thinking that it's something outside of us, because it really does come from within. And it also is what drives, our cravings and our desires. And so this is where it's really intermingled with food. And so in the last conversation that we had about sugar, I mentioned, that beauty is something that can be a real motivator. And so the topic of beauty, I love talking about it with, young women in particular, but we're all attracted to beauty. And this is why marketing works, because we like to buy things that look pretty and are beautiful. And beauty is, it's a wonderful motivator. And it's very good to tap into that, because that's what keeps you sort of connected to what it is that you want to change. And, so when I worked with the girls from Top Model, obviously they wanted to know everything about skin, hair, nails, beauty, how to sort of, and also how to have more energy, because of course, energy, we need to be able to smile and to be able to connect with people. And so I shared with them one thing when I was younger, when I started to realize the important benefits and the impact of food, was I'd seen a naturopath, and I always had breakouts all through my 20s. And it wasn't till I was in my late 20s that I found the connection to my diet. And so that was something I'd always struggled with. And by simply making some dietary changes, my skin cleared up. And, so that was a really amazing connection for me, to realize that food could have that big of an impact. And it's probably what sort of, set me on the path of wanting to go and study it. And now, the conversation around beauty is really to give us access, to understand how to, eat foods that nourish our skin and do all of these things and give us clear skin. But also, all the systems in our body it's going to tie back into those. And so our gut health, our liver health, our hormone balance, all of these things, our stress levels, all of these things are tying into and feeding the area that we are wanting to see results in, which is the way that we look. So this is why beauty and weight loss are such big topics. But it's always going to come back to what's happening inside the body. And so this is what we're going to be talking about today. So I'm going to give you my top 3 skin foods, which, gotta say, hard for me to nail it down to 3, because I have so many foods that I love, and when I go through the list, I'm like, oh my God, but they're all important. But I found, I did scale that back for you guys so that I can give you 3 top ones, and just ones to sort of make you think a little bit differently as well. And, but of course it's all about the holistic diet, and it's all about having everything together. But we can only focus on so much, so we need to sometimes simplify things. And, so the thing is with food is the building blocks for our body. So our body is made up of structures, whether it's our liver, our bones, our hair, skin, our nails. And all of these things are the results of the food that we've eaten, as well as the chemistry that is all happening because of the food that we've eaten. And the other aspect of influence to that is the emotional side, because the emotions also have a big influence over our chemistry. But food is very important, and food provides our body with the information to start doing things. And obviously our skin as well, it's the largest organ for detoxification. So, detoxification, we say that word a lot, and we all want to be clean. Of course we, don't want to have toxic things in our body, but our body is always detoxifying and eliminating foods, and byproducts of foods and hormones and things from the environment. And so detoxification is a daily thing that our bodies are doing. It's a big chore. And our skin takes on a role of detoxification as well. It's our largest detoxification organ, if you can believe it. So obviously the skin is excreting through sweat things that our body doesn't need anymore. And also with that, I want to mention the skin also has its own microbiome. And so this is the similar to the gut flora that we've got living in our gut. We have all these microorganisms living all over our skin. And so this skin microbiome is really important for detoxification as well, because when things get excreted through the skin, then the microbiome and the bacteria on the skin actually need to break these things down. And a healthy skin microbiome as well also provides immunity and detoxification. So it's really important. And this is going to be influenced by the things that you put on your skin as well as the things that you eat. So one of the foods that I've got is a great skin detoxifier and supports the microbiome. So also, acne and skin eruptions. So this is obviously this is something that a lot of us have struggled with at some time at different, well, actually I have friends who haven't had, they always had beautiful skin and seem to be able to do anything to it, whereas I always had the kind of skin that just freaks out over nothing, it seems. And, so it's over the years I've figured out sort of the dietary things that I needed to do for that. But a lot of it is also hormone related. And as you guys know, if you've been listening to my talks, your hormones are connected to your liver function and also diet. But if we have a backed up liver and if hormones are getting disrupted, then that's going to show up, that's going to show up by either messing up our cycle or messing up our moods or making us tired. But it's also going to show up in our skin through those hormones are going to need to come out somewhere because they're not in balance. And also, so I talked about the microbiome and nutrient deficiencies. So now this is why, we're talking about keeping all these systems working, right? Our liver, our skin, our gut, we want all these things to be working. But we also just need to make sure that we've got the right nutrients to build things. And so if we're deficient in any pathways, we're going to block up the systems, and we're also not going to have the right tools to actually just build what we want. Collagen, healthy skin cells, hair, strong nails, all of these things require things that come from food. And so the types of foods that we're eating and eating nutrient dense foods, I always go back to because they're so much more efficient, like nuts and seeds and healthy fats. These nutrient dense foods provide all the components that we need. All right, so now I'm going to give you my 3 top skin foods, okay? So my first one, the first favorite, is extra virgin olive oil. Now, I pour extra virgin olive oil on everything. I love this stuff. And it's actually, we'll talk about oils for a minute. So extra virgin olive oil is fruit oil. And fruit oils are the better oils. We want to avoid vegetable oils and seed oils that are highly unstable. Even flaxseed oil and these kind of omega-3 oils, unless they're really fresh, then those oils can actually cause a lot of damage. But our extra virgin olive oil from freshly squeezed olives, it is such a beautiful food because It's so high in antioxidants, and it's also providing phytonutrients, which are plant nutrients, oleic acid, and squalene. And these things are super powerful at helping with aging, but they're also providing this stability and structure that we need within the skin cell. And so we're actually having plump, supple, beautiful cells in our bodies, and we're also promoting communication between the cells through a healthy phospholipid bilayer. Okay, so I hope that wasn't too much. But, basically, just think of extra virgin olive oil. You cannot have too much of it. I promise you. I've got a friend who's just said to me, Sita, I'm so glad that you told me to eat more fats. No longer constipated. And so if you're someone who gets backed up, obviously that can also have an impact on your skin, because if you're holding on to toxins in your body, you're going to see that come out in your skin. And so constipation is obviously something that we want to avoid. And a lot of people eating low fat have just been doing such a disservice, because what we have been trained to think is that eating fats makes us fat, but it's so not true. In fact, it's the opposite. And if you actually have 3 or 4 or 5 tablespoons of olive oil on your salad, you're only going to absorb as much as you need, and the rest is actually going to go through and lubricate your system. So when we think about hydrating through our body, we should think about things like extra virgin olive oil, rather than just water. Like, water hydration is important, but we're actually hydrating our cells by making sure that there's a good level of fats there, and we're hydrating everything going through our gut by making sure that it's oiled and lubricated. And so oils are really important. Extra virgin olive oil, by far my favorite. I love coconut oil too, but I would, extra virgin olive oil I find is it's the easier one to pour on salads. It's more versatile. You can cook with it up to 200 degrees, and it doesn't turn into trans fats, contrary to previous information that was out. It's, as long as it's high quality, cold pressed, extra virgin olive oil, it should have a good little sort of spicy note to it. That type of olive oil has so much antioxidants, and it's not the watered down light olive oils that you often get in the grocery store. Those you actually need to watch out for. So the one I do recommend if you're in Australia is Cobram Estate. They do a beautiful extra virgin olive oil, and they're also doing amazing research to sort of back up a lot of this information about just the health benefits. So extra virgin olive oil did get my #1 spot for the skin. And my second spot is going to go to berries, and I'm just going to class all berries as, amazing for the skin. So they contain a phytonutrient called, or different ones called, anthocyanins, particularly high in purple berries, maqui, blueberry, acai, blackberries, obviously all these sort of darker colored berries, but you can have any berries. They're all good for you, especially if you can buy organic. I buy frozen organic just throughout the year, because then I know that there's no pesticides on there, which we know are damaging. But berries are also high in vitamin C, and vitamin C is very important for promoting collagen production. And collagen production in the skin is what keeps skin plump, healthy, protected. It's an antioxidant. It's part of glutathione. Well, it recycles glutathione, our body's most important antioxidant for the liver. And so that detoxification process, the berries are supporting with all of those antioxidants. And they're also low in sugar. They're sweet, but they're sort of sweet tart in a way, and so you can eat berries daily, and they're amazing with yogurt or cream or in your smoothies. So try and get them in every day. Also, you can get powdered maqui berry and acai, and pomegranate as well sort of fits into there. So, okay, so that was the first two, extra virgin olive oil and berries. And my third one is brassicas. So these are a group of vegetables, in particular Brussels sprouts and kale. because they are high in sulfur. And sulfur is a nutrient that the skin really needs to maintain its integrity, to promote collagen, and it's also antibacterial and antimicrobial, so it's really good for minimizing pores and preventing breakouts, so actually keeping a clear complexion. And this is because of the relationship that it has also with the skin microbiome. And so the bacteria on the skin are happier when there's a good amount of sulfur. So when we're talking about antimicrobial, we're actually talking about the benefits being that it fights off the pathogenic bacteria and then it promotes the good bacteria. And so brassicas, particularly Brussels sprouts, pour olive oil all over them, a little bit of salt, put them in the oven and just roast them until they're really roasty. And that is going to be a great skin snack, okay? And then you can have your berries in your smoothie. And if you're doing those things every day, that's like a really great place to be starting. All right, so that sums up my 3. Now that was a bit of information for you guys, so I think that we'll finish there. And thanks for joining me, and hope to see you next week. Bye.